I usually dread premieres because usually you'll premiere in a room that's nothing to do with a theater, you know. I remember in one film, there was a glass wall that was 2 stories tall, and you could watch planes land while you're sitting in your folding chair watching the movie. It's awful. But and it was like an echo chamber, you couldn't even hear what they were saying. So this one I was sure would be a disaster, and it sounded that you could hear every nuance in that mix. It was amazing. You know, and it was the biggest screen you've ever seen.
Rami, I want to ask the first time you got to watch, even if it was just a rough cut of the film, if it wasn't like, you know, film, you know, Doug, you went to the premiere, that's the first time you saw the movie, that's what happens in Sundance. But for this movie, like, for you, were you able to watch the movie and sort of like, feel like wow, like, these sort of like, we really did this movie, like, we really did this, like, it looks great, you know?
That's difficult. It's hard for, I think, so many actors to get out there and try to be critical in a way that's, you know, comes from a distance. I mean, I think it's just a little too close at times. When I saw the first cut of Mr. Robot, I was really taken aback and kind of worried. And so at that point, I realized just how much work it takes to deliver a final cut. And since then, I've come to understand that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So when I did see a rough cut, I knew that we were in good shape. I thought, okay, this can possibly be great if we push it and push it and push it, which we ultimately did. But I'll tell you when I knew almost immediately that we had something very special. Just from day one, going out there and seeing what Aaron Hay, our production designer, put together on the Live Aid stage, something I've watched so many times, and to see it replicated to spec the way that it was, and from the perspective of costume and makeup, and everyone would come in as you do on a film, but there was something about this film in particular where everybody, I think, just raised their game, and we knew that we had their legacy, the legacy of Queen and this man's story that we had to uphold and do justice to. Otherwise, you know, why watch the movie? Why make the movie about Freddie Mercury when you can go watch all that footage? But we really thought we can give you an insight into this man's life that you might not have known, into their story, and it may not be chronologically as in order as, you know, a documentary would be for the sake of telling a story in 2 hours, but I knew we were telling a story about his passion, their passion, a story about family and love, and I think that permeated everybody's work every day. It was such a collaborative effort on this film, and everyone truly, I think, came with their best day in and day out.
I cannot think of a better way to bring this incredible conversation to a close. So, yeah, great. Okay, busy. All right.
How about some questions?
Well, let's start. All right, you got a question right there?
Thank you very much. So I actually wrote you a letter, and I gave it to you last week. Yes. So I actually was born when Freddie passed, and I have found so much of him in this movie, and I feel like I've just come to learn who he is. And then I find that in the same time I'm learning about him, I also feel like I'm mourning him a little bit, and which is hard. So I was wondering how, if you dealt with that, and once you got to know like him, and then also have to mourn the loss of him, and how you kept that with you, that he is still with you all the time.
Thank you.
It's sad, but it's very beautiful, and I think it's powerful, and I think that will inevitably be helpful to you as it is to so many, and myself. When I first met Brian and Roger, I had a really hard time asking them about Freddie, because it's, you know, at dear friend, a loved one, a brother that they lost, and you can't just come at them with all these questions. And I watch people do it, and so it's difficult. I wanted to be very conscious and conscientious of that. So I think I can see how they're affected by his loss and when they do talk about it. But they also fill with joy. So as there is sadness, you can see the way he's affected them and that he still lives on with them. I think for myself, I got to relate to this man in such a unique way. I saw him as this godlike figure, and the way he steps onto stage, he struts out there. He has this superpower that is this voice and this movement and this ability to connect with everybody. When I would try to break that down, I see a guy who is an immigrant and who was 18 going to London, may have been called Farouk Bulsara, Freddie Bulsara, eventually became Freddie Mercury, and all those struggles that he had in his life to live out his dream. You can see him taking all of that energy, all that burning desire he has, and standing up on stage and saying, I'm going to be exactly who I want to be here in this moment, look you all in the eye, and say we can all do the same thing and share this music, these lyrics, be uplifted, celebrate one another, and be our most bold, beautiful selves. And if that's the legacy he leaves for you, then that's great. We'll miss him, but we'll celebrate him together.
I just want to get your take about how the movie has just done so well around the world. $140 million worldwide. I mean,
You mentioned superhero. I mean, Freddie is a superhero. It's made as much as superhero film, so he's now become superhero status.
what is it? Why do you think the movie just has connected around the world?
I think it's emotional resonance, basically. That she very well said. It's the celebration, but at the same time, you have this mourning for the loss. You know, and I think that's what makes the film so emotional. And that was, one of the major tenets of our job was to make it as emotional as we could. You know.
Well, I agree. I think it's Brian and Roger both said to me while we were working that this is to be a tribute to their friend, to his talent, not to some of the other parts of his life that we're all aware of, but his legacy is in his performance and his skill at songwriting and singing and touching people and being able to interact with people, and it's a lasting legacy that I think people want to see over and over again. It's not something that you watch once and go, okay, that's done. It really does touch you, and you get to We're the Champions. So many people that are just openly got a tear in their eye, and it's sad, definitely, but in the end, it's a celebration of his life. And I think the film captures that really, really well. Kudos to Rami on that.
In all your travels, Rami, was there any, like a particular standout moment from maybe at one of the premieres, or someone who came up to you after a screening, or someone who said something to you that really meant and has stayed with you for these last 4 months?
Well, that will.
That will.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's those moments where people feel like they identify, they feel like they feel liberated, more free, more understanding of self. That's pretty beautiful. There's another moment which struck me and struck Will Lee quite a bit, who plays Brian May in the film. We were in Tokyo, and we went to surprise an audience seeing the movie on opening night, and it was actually a sing-along. They had the sing-along. Everyone got a glow stick in the audience as they went to sit down. We came in through the back, and we caught the last 20 minutes, which is Live Aid, and they were singing every song, word for word, an audience in Tokyo. And I said, let's go do a Q&A, and we did. And got up on stage, and many people needed a translator for their questions and to ask the questions, but they knew every word to Bohemian Rhapsody and we go on.
And ladies and gentlemen, the movie's on Blu-ray right now. Thank you so much, Paul.